here is a trade, and one that there's no way this happens, right? Because when do teams in the division make trades together?
Well, the Dolphins just did it with Devontae Parker.
You're damn right they did.
That's exciting.
It's exciting. So what about this deal? The Eagles and the Cowboys do a little trade.
A little QB swap.
Yes. Now, I don't know that the Eagles would still do this, considering they just made a trade with the Saints.
Yeah, but Howie Roseman's a wheeler and a dealer, man.
A wheeler and a dealer. So the Cowboys move up to take the Eagles pick, which, what pick do they now have still? 18, I think, is the pick that they still have. Because this is, this article came out right before they made their trade, poor guy.
Oh, poor guy.
So 16 is the move that they gave up to the Saints, but they still have 2 first-round picks, and I think 18 is the one that they have. So this would be number 18 overall. So the Eagles get 24 and number 88 overall, and a 2023 third-round pick from the Cowboys. The Cowboys get the Eagles' 18th overall pick.
Yeah, Eagles have 15 and 18 right now, so yes.
Okay. In which case they take offensive tackle Trevor Pening out of Northern Iowa. And they also get back a 5th-round pick in next year's draft. So this little write-up says, well, it might not seem like an immediate need this season. Offensive tackle is certainly something the Cowboys are going to have to worry about in the near future. After releasing Lyle Collins, the Cowboys are set to have Tyron Smith on the left side and Terrence Steele on the right side this season. And the 31-year-old Tyron Smith, once again, battled nagging injuries last season, limiting him to playing just 11 games. Smith, as we've said many, many times on our show, has not played a full schedule since 2015, and the odds are that he's not going to play a full season again in his career. On the other side, you got Terrence Steele, who, well, we're hopeful about, right? But he's not going to be able to kick over to the left side, we don't think. They're probably going to keep him over at the right side. So if the Cowboys were to make this move to go ahead and get Trevor Pening, they've got their long-term replacement for Tyron Smith at left tackle, and for the time being, he can slide in and play at left guard for this season.
Yeah, this dude is massive.
He's a freak of nature. If you go back and watch highlights of the Senior Bowl, this dude dominated.
Yeah, he's got that nasty streak in him. He's 6'7", 325 pounds. He's got super long arms, 12 starts last year. First team all MVFC honors, which is the highest honor that you could ever get in all of sports. He ran like a 4.940 at the combine.
That is
like
crazy for his size.
Well, he was on the Bruce Feldman freaks list.
Oh, he was on the freaks list.
Yeah, this guy's a super freak.
You like his hair? He's got long hair.
I'm a big fan of the hair. Yeah, everybody with long hair except for Aaron Rodgers, I'm a fan of. So
I'm a little surprised.
So this guy, I just don't think Rodgers looks good with the long hair.
Surprise.
I've been on record about that for a while. But this Trevor Pening fella, he is now he did have 16 penalties. So if you want to get the Connor Williams vibes out of here,
he's got the mean streak about him.
Yeah, he's got.
I think he had some personal foul.
They were all personal.
There was
fouls.
actually no, seriously, like there was one play at the end of a game, and rumor has it, as a birdie told me, the Cowboys actually asked him about this at the combine when they interviewed him. He punches a guy.
He punches a guy.
Okay, so it's one of the last plays. Northern Iowa's getting their ass kicked.
Of course they are.
And he mauls his player, gets him on the ground, and while he's on the ground, he just freaking punches him in the gut. And the Cowboys, I believe, asked him about this, and they said, hey, what were you thinking on this? And his response, from what I've been told, was, I was ticked off. We were getting our ass kicked.
You think he actually said ticked?
I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
And I know I shouldn't have done it, but in the moment, I let my emotions get the best of me.
Good, I like that.
But I think this is kind of the mean streak the Cowboys are looking for right now.
All right, I want to read you what Bruce Feldman, his write-up is. Feldman, for the 2021 Freaks list in college football, had Trevor Pening as his 69th freak. It doesn't get any freakier than that.
I like Trevor Pening. I just don't know that I necessarily want to move up to go get him.
No, I'm not moving up, really, for anybody. Like, this isn't a draft that
I'm in love with anybody enough to move up to go get.
I'm with you.
Unless it's like a Charles Cross, who I do think is one of those tackles where if he slides, is good enough to where if they decide they really do want to tackle, he is one of those dudes that I do think is a top tackle in a class to where he's good enough to say, bleep it, we haven't addressed this, the offensive line position, we have to get a guy, go ahead and move up and get him. Otherwise, just stay where you are.
So this is how freaky Pening is. Let's see. He says, last year, Northern Iowa had an offensive tackle who blossomed into a freak, Spencer Brown. And it is another one. It has another one on the other side of the line who is even stronger and nastier. Though Pening isn't as light-footed as the Buffalo Bills' third-rounder, Spencer Brown, Pening is 6'7", 330-plus pounds, came from a small private school in North Iowa. He's put on about 100 pounds since coming to Northern Iowa. Coaches have become used to watching film and seeing him drive D linemen off the frame. Quote, "We treat him like a mythical creature," said the O-line coach. He watches the movie Saw on his phone before games.
No way.
"We treat him like Bigfoot, and we don't look him in the eyes." That's what the offensive line coach said. He squats 625 pounds. He cleans 385, and his shoe size is 17.
This dude sounds like a freaking
I take back everything I said about not trading up.
Maybe
I would
you
do
want
anything
this
to
dude.
get this guy in a Cowboy uniform.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's awesome.
I mean, you're not going to be worried about being out nasty against the Niners if you see them again. Let's be real.
He watches the movie Saw before games.
Nobody wants to look him in the eye.
Jigsaw is his spirit animal.
Want to play a game?
He's never identified with a movie character more than Jigsaw.
Wow.
That's outstanding.
Okay, how about this trade? This isn't moving up in the first round. This is trading the number 88 overall pick in the third round to get a wide receiver. This wide receiver is Brandon Cooks. Sign me up.
Dude, I'm all about Brandon Cooks. Now, he's in the final year of his deal, if I'm not mistaken.
He is.
Okay.
But he would come at a steep price.
Really?
He is a $16 million cap hit, and he is in the final year of his deal. But $16 million for a guy who is a wide receiver one. And, I mean, last year, he had 90 catches, 1,037 yards, and 6 touchdowns. And who were his quarterbacks?
Davis Mills in his neck.
And Tyrod Taylor for, 3 games?
Yeah.
So
probably.
He played on a horrible team and still managed to be productive. Brandon Cooks as your wide receiver 2 for $16 million. When, I mean, yes, you traded Amari, who was making $22 million for a 5th, to get Brandon Cooks for a 3rd. I think might irritate some people, but I think that's great value, personally.
It's tough. I really like Brandon Cooks. I mean, there's not much to dislike about the dude. He's been ultra consistent with great quarterbacks, average quarterbacks, bad quarterbacks for his entire career.
For some reason, I think he's still not super old. Like, I don't think he's even 30 yet.
No, he's not 30.
I think I want to guess 28.
I'm going to guess 28.
He's 28.
So,
which is the same age as Amari.
And
I don't think he's going to sign for that much.
You mean when he becomes the free agent?
Yeah, like I for whatever reason, I just don't think he's a guy that's going to sign for a ton of money. Even with the wide receiver market booming, just because he's been a guy that's gone from team to team to like he just doesn't stick with anyone.
Yeah, my big thing is it's tough for me to be interested. Like somebody texted earlier about DK Metcalf. Would you if you're the Cowboys, you want to trade for DK?
Well, I don't want to trade a first round pick for a receiver.
Right. Well, when
I just traded a receiver.
There's not a ton.
But a third round pick. You're not going to get a third round pick that's going to come in and give you the kind of instant production that a Brandon Cooks would give you.
For sure, but you might be spending a third round pick for a one and done player.
You might be, but I also think, I mean, this team's got a ton of 5s. You can easily get back into the third round.
I get it. And someone's asking about the Brandon Cooks injuries. Wasn't he a concussion guy for a while?
He has had a couple concussions.
So that's something to consider.
Let me pull something up. Let me look up the games played with him.
I'm not crazy about the idea of trading for receivers these days. Just because, unless you're Cleveland and they didn't really have any receivers, they needed somebody. There's Amari Cooper, 5th round pick. I got cap space.
Last year he started 16 of 16 games. The year before, 15 of 15. Yeah, I mean, he hasn't missed. The most games he's missed was 4 in 2016. Since then, he missed 1 in 2017. He didn't miss any games in 2018. He missed 2 in 2019. He missed 1 in 2020 and didn't miss any games last year.
Okay. So, I mean, the durability concerns are no longer concerns. So
Right.
That's good news. I like the player. It'd be a great addition. But paying him $16 million and having to give up a third-round pick for a position, for me, it's about the position.
Sure.
Where it's just like, man, I feel like I can draft a youngster. I can do these different things.
And I'm all about drafting a youngster as well. It's just I am nervous about starting the first 3 weeks of the season. You're not going to have Michael Gallup.
And I understand that,
but you really, clearly they're nervous about it too because they're making calls.
Yeah. And I mean, listen, sending a 5th-round pick to Miami for a $6 million Devontae Parker is different than sending a 3rd-round pick for a $16 million Brandon Cooks.
But I'd rather send a 3rd-round pick, honestly, for Brandon Cooks than I would for Devontae Parker.
Well, if it's
Devontae Parker's older than Brandon Cooks.
But Devontae Parker would have costed you like a 5th-round pick. That's the difference, right? I mean, yeah.
No, he went for a 3rd. To New England.
Jeez. Well, I
Amari
wouldn't have done that.
went for the 5th.
Amari went for the 5th. I would not. That's still, so it kills me.
Right. But you would rather have Brandon Cooks than Devontae Parker, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So all things equal, I mean, and in the Cowboys deemed that the 3rd was too rich for Devontae Parker.
And they
so
were
maybe
100%
they think
correct.
that the 3rd is too rich for Brandon Cooks as well.
I think for most receivers these days, it is because there's a plethora out there. And I understand the concerns of, hey, Michael Gallup might miss the first 2, 3, maybe even 4 games of the season. But I just think we'd be a little bit short-sighted if we're like, hey, let's throw a 1st-round pick at a guy that we might only have for 1 year just to make sure that we have
a 3rd-round pick. It's not a 1st.
No, I know, but a 3rd. I mean, geez, I'm expecting my 3rd-round pick to be a nice player for me on the cheap for 4 years.
I mean, do you want to pull up the Cowboys' 3rd-round picks?
Listen, if that's the case, I mean, sure, we can look up everybody's draft and say, hey, you haven't drafted a good 3rd-round player in a while. You might as well just trade it for a guy that you only might have for a year, and you're going to pay him $16 million.
I don't think it would be a bad idea, especially since I think this team can easily get back up into the 3rd round if there's a player that they like. They have the draft capital to do so.
I wouldn't completely poo on it. I don't think it would be the worst thing ever, but I don't think it'd be something that I'd be down to do.
The other options are, and this is also for a receiver, but this is moving up into the 1st round a few spots. This is the Cowboys move up to the 20th overall pick with the Steelers. The Steelers move back to 24. The Cowboys give up their 4th-round pick and their 5th-round pick to get up to that 20th pick, and they take Chris Olave out of Ohio State. Which I would not, and I like Chris Olave. I personally think he's the 2nd best receiver in the draft behind Treylon Burks for me. But I just don't want to move up to go get a receiver. If one slides to me at 24 and you get wiped out from, a Kenyon Green or one of the guards you like, then fine, so be it. But I don't know that I'd really want to move up to go get a receiver.
Yeah, I don't really want to trade up. There's not many guys I really want to trade up for other than this freak show from Northern Iowa now, based on the details that we know about him.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I'd be open to an offensive lineman move up to get him, and I would do that 3rd-round pick for Brandon Cooks.
Well, I mean, 214 agrees with you. Stop overvaluing draft picks. Talking to me, like Brandon Cook's going to be better than anybody.
I hear what you're saying, just because $16 million I do think is a lot of money.
Yeah, well, and
that'd be the one hesitancy I have.
It could potentially be a 1-year rental.
It could be, right? It could be, but I just think this team can get back into that 3rd round just because they have a ton of, with the comp picks that they got, they just have a ton of 4 and 5s. Yeah. So I think they can get back into that 3rd and be okay. But I just like Brandon Cooks.
I do too. I like him a lot.
I just think he's really, and to get a 3rd for him, for that type of player, I think the quality and I think the value is just good there. I like that.
I hear you.
But I don't know if the Cowboys would even do it. So
no, I don't think
it's just a fun conversation to have.